Yeah, just none of us very happy. Again, had a chance on the road to beat a Big Ten team and didn't take advantage of it. Just like we said after the game, I loved our kids compete. We fought. It was a very physical defensive battle on both sides. It's a game that, somebody's going to make one more play, and you got to find a way to make it in the end and get the game to overtime. So defensively, number one priority is defending the score. They held a Big Ten team to 13 points, so if that's your number one priority, they did a phenomenal job. The number one priority, still tons of stuff to clean up their one touchdown drive. The last two plays in the drive, we're in man coverage and we cut guys loose, and we cut a guy loose and they flipped it to him, and it was a big gain to get down there. And then the next drive, we're spying the quarterback, and we cut a guy loose, and our spy guy ended up having to take the guy that cut loose. So when he scrambled, we didn't have our spy guy right there. We knew he was an athletic quarterback, so we had somebody accounting for him. But because so even as well as we played defensively, there's things that they're not super happy about and frustrated and feel like we left some things on the field. Offensively, again, we had some good runs, but there was nothing consistent in the run game where we could kind of stay with the run game and try to drive the ball. And but we did have some things. It's hard to run on them. It was tough, but there was some good. But again, not enough good. And a pass game, again, we threw it good, we caught it good. We protected good at times, not consistent enough. There's times we got derailed because we didn't protect good enough. Credit them, they're really good up front. We knew that going in. They're very deep and talented and physical up front, pass rushing. So they got us sometimes, and that stopped drives, And then we had some catches that we caught the ball well on everything we should have caught. We caught, but we had some tougher catches that we got to make if you're going to go into a Big Ten venue and win the game. And we had some opportunities, and we didn't come up with anything that was great, And then we had a couple bad throws that, uncharacteristic of us, that guys were open and we didn't hit them. So again, horribly inconsistent. Credit to Northwestern. It's not like, we stunk and it's, Northwest, part of our inconsistencies was because they're a physical defense and a good defense. So definitely credit to them. We knew going in it was going to be very tough for everything on offense, and you had to fight and scratch and claw. Special teams the same way as our offense. There was a lot of good stuff on special teams. We kicked the ball well. I was happy with Kellen, happy with Dom. And then the rest of the guys on our special team units, there's a lot of good stuff there, but there's a lot of not good stuff there too. There's a lot of inconsistencies on special teams, and we gave up a good last kickoff. Kellen had to make the play, and we had a number of guys that didn't do what they're supposed to do, and not good enough for week one. Frustrated, not happy. Just not me, I'm saying our organization. Just we felt like we left some stuff on the field against a really good team on the road, but we put ourselves in position to win it. And if we'd have played a little more consistent throughout the game, maybe we're in even a better position to win it at the end. We're not chasing 7 points in the end. And then obviously we feel like at the end we're moving the ball down the field, and then we don't execute in the pass game, and we end up losing a really hard fought battle by 7 on the road. And again, like I talking to somebody last night, it's weird because like we're not down, we're not necessarily disappointed. We're more upset with ourselves for how we played and coached, and we could have been better in some areas, and that's on all of us. That's not, and you lose by 7 to a good Big Ten team, and you're not very happy, which again is good for us, good for our kids. It's just they were just not happy. Yesterday they're kind of angry and felt like we need to make 4, 5, 6 more plays, and they were there, and we screwed up on OD and special teams, and it was there for the taking. We didn't quite get it.
All right, questions?
Coach, can you take and analyze what Kade McDonald was able to provide on Saturday, and what kind of key aspect he's going to bring to the offense?
Yeah, obviously last year he was a good part of our passing attack. He did a lot of good things. He was a great returner. Obviously with Gage and Joe Wilkins and Miles Marshall leaving, then it's Reggie, Javon, then you add Andre. So all those guys bigger roles, more opportunities. And obviously, Cade stepped up, and he's so good with the ball after he catches it. He's a really good route runner, really good hand, so he can do a lot of different jobs for you. He's a pretty complete player. He's very competitive. So had a really, we talked about offensively. I said, like, raise your hand if you did good things in the game. And just about everybody that played, everybody that played did good things. Like, they all raised their hand. I said, raise your hand if you did something great in the game. And really it's like, no one really raised their hand. I said, well, that's the difference between winning against the Big Ten team and being really dang close against a Big Ten team is we need a couple more great plays, But Cade made a couple of those. Javon made a really good contested catch early to keep a drive going, and that's what you need to do. So Cade was the one guy that really stood out as far, like, not just good, but great at times, and it stood out. And we needed, we need a couple more great plays in that game to pull it out.
What was it like playing on a field like that when it was right on the lake?
Yeah, it was. It for me, it was not. That's more fans. Just again, we got out there. You're on the field. You don't. The lake being 5 feet behind you, at no point in time did you even notice it if you're playing or coaching. So, for us, I can't speak for me. It was not, like the whole venue meant nothing. Not in a bad way. Just like you get out there and it's 120 yards by 53 in a third, and that's where your focus is. And whether there was makeshift stands or like that, I would doubt that any of the players even noticed, other than walking up, you saw a lake. But then once you got in the stadium, you're like, okay, let's play football. So I think for fans, it probably maybe was a pretty neat venue. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But that's, to me, it's like, it was weird because I got a lot of questions. What was it like being that close to the lake? That's been a pretty common. I didn't even really realize we were that close to the lake, to be honest with you. So I was looking for some lake breeze, which was very uncharacteristic of Chicago. So I've been over there a bunch, and that was like the calmest day I've ever seen that close to Lake Michigan. So that stunk. I did notice that.
What'd you see on some of your kick return units is that kind of limited your field position a little bit in the first half?
Yeah, the one again, you have a good defense. You typically have good special teams. They're really good on defense. They got good guys run down there. We really had one issue on the backside, one issue front side. Again, this is hard. 11 guys out there. Like, our kickoff return unit was actually, aside from the specialists, like maybe potentially our best, most, because we did a lot of good things up front. We had one bad block on the backside that was pretty consistent that we got to look at it, and we had one kickout block that was really bad. And on that, there was some air there to take advantage. The one we almost hit in the second half. But even the ones in the first half, like, we had a lot of good blocks on KOR. We had two really bad misses that were pretty consistent through the game. So we gotta look at those spots and figure out if we're not coaching it the best, or if we gotta get somebody in there that can execute what we're trying to do.
It would be hard to be at midseason form when you're playing your first game. But how do you feel about Brett? Coming back, whether he showed any rust or how he is, how he performed in that game.
Yeah, I would say, I asked him how he did. He said, I felt rusty he's like a first few series, and then he goes, then he kind of felt good the rest of the way. So I'll trust how he felt, because he just, that first couple series, he just, he said everything was moving a little quicker then. Then he said I got hit a few times, everything got settled in, and he said from there he felt good. So, but competed, you're not going to have a ton of time against Northwestern. They're really good pass rushers. We gave them enough time a lot of the times, not all the time. We got sacked some. But he was under duress all game. I mean, he took a lot of shots and he threw a lot of balls. So there's a couple throws he'd like to have back, obviously, that weren't as accurate as he's used to. They were, nothing was too clean during the day. Not saying he was always getting hit, but there was always pocket pressure, caving in, color. So I thought he competed like he always did. I thought he gave us a chance to win it. And I know he's disappointed, like I'm disappointed that he misfired on the last one. And Reggie kind of stopped coming out of the cut. Not stopped, but hesitated out of the cut. Brett thought he wasn't going to hit it again. I don't know that it was a great throw anyways. It's hard to see. I wish Reggie didn't hesitate. If Reggie didn't hesitate, I'd like to see what would happen. I don't think it would have been picked. It might have been an incomplete pass, but not our best decision of the day.
How'd you feel about the run game? I know Olski got banged up there for a little bit, but Brunson's yard per carry average was pretty good. Sometimes that, I guess it's a run read option thing.
Yeah, our run game was like our offense. It just, there was times that there was some air there, and we moved them a little bit, and there was times that there was nothing there, So it was hitting. It wasn't like we got nothing out of our run game, but we didn't get enough that we could sustain. Our thing was sustaining drives. Nothing was consistent enough to sustain a drive. We almost got a first down every time we touched the ball. We at least got one first down, and then sometimes we moved it down and stalled. Like, being choppy against them, I'm not surprised. They're big. Like, you watch their tape from last year, there's a lot of Big Ten teams that had a hard time moving the ball in Northwestern last year. The things that cost us was we moved the ball down there, we jump offside, we end up settling for a field goal. You're not going to have tons of opportunities against a Big Ten team. So we drove down, and then we get down, we got some momentum, we put together a nice drive, and we have an illegal snap, and now you're back first and 15, and we settle for a field goal. We drive down, and the next time, put together another nice drive. Not the next series, but we have another nice drive. We get down there, we're on the 22, and we have third down. One, you want to try to get 7 for sure, but then we get sacked, and now we're forced to try a 50-yard field goal as opposed to a 40-yard field goal. Well, Dom makes a really good kick. It's 1 or 2 yards short. It's dead down the middle. Like, that sack cost us. At the end of the game, we should have been driving for the win, not for the tie. And it changed. We'd had a lead. It would have been 6-3. Changes a lot of things. But there's 2 drives right there where you want to get 14. You got 3. And we were down in where we should have had 6 at least and have a lead. Then our 2 turnovers are both plus territory. The one was they picked it off around their 35. So you're moving the ball. We weren't in scoring position yet. The interception occurred around the 30, 35, but you're on their part of the field. And obviously the last drive, we're in plus territory again. So again, did I think we're gonna get 10 drives against Northwestern to score? No. When we got in plus territory, we didn't finish drives, and then we didn't get points in other drives that we should have got points. You have 2 turnovers in plus territory. You have a 50-yard field goal that should have been a 40-yard minimally, and so it was. In our 5th trip, we got a field goal too. So that's just sort of like, there's 9 possessions in the game, really. I mean, we had, if you count 10, if you count the one, we had the ball in our 1 with a minute and a half. We were trying not to give it back to them. Brunson hit a run, so we did push it out, and then we were kind of hedging. Should we go? Should we not? We still didn't want to give Northwestern the ball. We knew we had the ball to start. Second half was 3-3. We were feeling really good at that point in the game. Hindsight, I wish I would have been more aggressive and tried at the end of the half, because the third quarter I thought we had the ball. We'd go get the lead. And, so if you don't count that, there's 9 possessions a game. We had 5 that we got the ball in plus territory out of 9. Well, against Northwestern defense, now what cost us a game was getting 6 points and five possessions in plus territory. That's when you get down there, you got to take advantage of it. So when we beat Northwestern a couple years ago, beat Cincinnati last, like we were really good. When we got opportunities, typically we got 7. If not, we at least got 3. So that was not good by the offense, and what ultimately cost us the game.
Coach, health-wise, coming out of Northwestern, can you comment on you guys coming out of there healthy, and also taking advantage of the bye week early on?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I've never had a bye week 2, but again, you take the bye week whenever you get it. But we came out of it pretty good. There's a couple X-ray MRIs that are still pending, which is always on Monday. Now it's Labor Day, so they'll be probably pending for a little bit. But so there's a couple. Pretty beat up. We had a lot of guys. Now, we did some things yesterday to try to recover, but we have a lot of guys that weren't moving so good. But I'm not hopeful. I'm hopeful there's nothing long term, unless an MRI shows up something that we don't want to see. So we got a few of those, but just we're pretty sworn. So the bye week will be the bye week's always good. It's just you'd rather have later in the year when you need it more.
Could you be a chance to look at Cincinnati and just talk a little bit about some of their challenges? Yeah,
obviously they got a ton of new players, ton of new transfers. Offensively, they rolled up a 670 yards against Townsend, and the quarterback's he's really athletic. He's got a rifle arm, much more capable passer than probably not maybe as electric as the guy they had last year, but the guy they had last year is in the NFL right now. But this guy can throw it, and this guy can throw it, make all the throws. Really good skill. Offense line was really good in their first game against Townsend. They ran it like crazy and were moving guys all over the place. Big and athletic up front, and then they got a bunch of backs. So they're skilled on offense. They're still doing the same stuff. They got a lot of different ways to attack you in the run game and then throw the ball over your head. Defensively, they hired a coordinator from Iowa State, so they run the 3-3-5 stuff, which is new, so completely different scheme than a year ago. And then they got like 8 new starters from a year ago. They had a lot of transfers in, a lot of big athletic twitchy guys from different places, and they got a big early 21-3 in the first quarter, and then they played like they were in their 3 deep in the first half. Like they played 3 sets of safeties in the first, they played, their idea was go get after them, then play a bunch of guys, and that's what they did. So they gave up some yards and they get a couple big plays, but they also had their 3rd string in the first half, so that's sometimes. But they were getting a lot of young guys, a lot of good experience, which I totally get it. So, but they got a lot of guys that can run around and look like they can hit on defense. Their system's different, so we got some work to do on the new system because it's nothing. They were 3 down last year, but the 3-3-5 is a different animal, and you don't see it very often. Very unique. Kent ran it for parts of a year and a half, a little bit, so we've seen a little bit burn that. You don't see it very often.
The secondary, you had some younger guys this year filling in. How did you feel about their performance at Northwestern?
Yeah, we played a lot of guys. Some guys I thought played really well. Other guys were just okay. The guys that were just okay were not aggressive enough. Played like it was their first real action, and like I said, if it's your first college game or your first maybe college game as a starter or a rotational starter, which was a lot of guys that we played back there. That's nerve-wracking of itself. Then you go to a Big Ten venue, it makes it even more nerve-wracking because you're jumping the fire. So I thought our guys that didn't play as well as I know they can were not aggressive enough, or just too much dipping their toe in the water, too trying not to give up anything deep, and we were soft at times on the perimeter. But there was some good things. It was, again, we got to keep growing. We got some inexperience back there. We got to keep growing and get better. We're going to have a much different challenge in 2 weeks from a skill standpoint, and from a passing standpoint. We're going to have to take these 2 weeks and keep growing and getting better and be more aggressive and be more confident.